Williams, I don't know, maybe through depression or whatever, he decided to take his own life, allegedly. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, to begin with, obviously death is a horrible thing, and it's a sad thing, and especially for the, loved ones around you and everything. But for some reason, with his death, it really hit close to home. And I don't know why, because I've never met the man before, but growing up with him, I can list 5 movies that I watched all the time growing up. Hook, Mrs. Doubtfire, Jumanji, Aladdin, hands down, and everything. And I love him. And, I think it hit it even a little more closer to home was because, he was one of my dad's favorite actors and everything growing up. And, my dad always, unfortunately he passed away, a few years ago and everything. And, his number one thing was always trying to make people laugh. And, with Robin Williams, obviously that was his job in life, to make people laugh. And it's really sad when, people, are hurting inside, but they never show it. And he's definitely a prime example of somebody that you would never, ever expect, to have sad thoughts or depression or anything like that. But, of course, a lot of people think, committing suicide is a selfish thing. And, when it comes to certain things, I can agree with that and everything. But when, I guess, it's coming out saying that he had the early stages of Parkinson's disease, and one of the medications that he's on, one of the side effects is suicide. And when you start mixing chemicals, with reality and everything like that, that sometimes it's a losing battle. And, when you put to rest somebody and, when you love somebody as much as a lot of people, because when I say a lot of people was affected by this, because it's always we all grew up with him, especially, Mrs. Doubtfire, that's, when you think of, movies that you grew up with, honestly, you could probably name off 20 movies that you grew up with that you watched religiously growing up. And I would say at least 2 of those movies was Robin Williams movies. And it's just really sad that, there was no cure or no way to help him, in his last days.
So, with you, 1, being in the medical field, and 2, seeing something like Robin Williams losing his life to something that could have been potentially a side effect from a medicine, how do you think that should be changed or regulated, or should it be?
Well, I mean, working in the medical field, obviously everybody, that's in it is to help people out. And, obviously I work with pediatrics, so, the kids that come in, are just here for, random sick visits, well checkups and everything like that. But sometimes it can take, a little closer to home, because there's been a few incidents where kids, I've watched them grow up. They come in for a routine well checkup, and the doctors who I work with, amazing doctors, discovered something. And, in one case, one girl, came in for her well checkup and came back finding she had stage 3 kidney cancer. And, it was really heartbreaking. And so, watched her go through chemotherapy and everything like that, and, when you go into the medical field, just like I said, you're there to help people out. And when it comes to the medications, you never know, unfortunately, what's going to happen, or the side effects or anything like that, and that's, what, is sad, is that there's a lot of diseases and a lot of, conditions and stuff like that they haven't found a cure for. But, it's with people, that care enough, that it's a continuation of an everyday battle.